Hi, welcome back to the farm. My name's Roz, also known as Passion Flower, and you'll find me here each week talking about my farming and creative life. I've updated the background a little bit behind me. I've moved things around just a touch. It is our hard rubbish collection this coming weekend. So we've been doing some tidying up around here in the shed, getting rid of things that we haven't used in over 12 months and a little bit of tidying. We're also having family come to visit next weekend, like not this one, but the one after. And the plan will be, if it's not super hot, to have everyone here in the shed rather than in the house. So I have been doing some tidying up. I've vacuumed all of the floors and moved things around just a little bit. So you can see I've got these two basketball singlets up behind. So they're the teams that I used to support, the Southeast Melbourne Magic and the Victoria Titans. They're both signed singlets from back in the day. And they were just on the floor. And so I've decided that it's better to have them up on the wall or on my tin wall here. And I've also moved my mannequin a little bit closer as well and changed the cupboard behind here. I've just moved it to sort of create a little corner where I'm sitting here. My plan is, pointing the wrong way, to redress my mannequin in the new samples that I am making so that I can bring those along to market this year, which I'll talk about really soon. The only weird thing now is you can see the reflection of the sky in the framed photo. So you can see that it's a bright blue sky and quite sunny out there. Hopefully that's not too distracting for you. I'll see how it looks in editing, and if it's an issue, I might change things around a touch more, but I do like how I've reset things up. I've moved the furniture just a little bit to make the space a bit more usable. So in terms of business this week, again, it's been hot. I haven't been over here in the shed all that much, but I did receive the order of the new yarn base that I'm going to be adding to my shop. It is an 8-ply brushed merino and it is beautiful. I'll show you the project that I'm working on with it very soon. So as part of that, I'm working on the description for the website of the yarn, as well as the name of the base and some specific colorways that will just go on that base to begin with. So one of them will be the one that I'm working on. So I've come up with about 5 other colors that I'm going to work on very soon to have that range of garment, tonal, semi-solid, slightly variegated, but not in a crazy way, in a way that will work really well for a cozy winter jumper. I've also now been confirmed for the Melbourne Fibre Fest, the market in Coburg, and I've also been confirmed for the She's Crafty market in October in Castlemaine. So I think that is my craft market calendar done for the year. I have quite a lot of events, so I think that I don't want to push myself too much further. There are a couple of instances where they're either back-to-back weekends or even back-to-back days. So I will be having to plan well in advance in terms of stock and getting myself all organized. I'll put a link to the full list of markets below, and I might even try and do a graphic-y thing to throw up in here as well. First to what I'm wearing this week. This is the yoked tee that I made out of one skein of 100% silk yarn that I used a pattern for in terms of the numbers, but I kind of figured it all out for myself to get the fit that I wanted. Having worn it a couple of times now, I think I could probably even cast on less stitches at the neck and then increase out to end up being at the same stitch count for the underarm. So I could potentially tighten it up a little bit. I think because of the silk, it's very, very drapey, and after wearing it for a little while, it starts to kind of sag off the shoulders a little bit. So if I was to use 100% silk to make this style of top again, I would make the neck much smaller. But it's really comfortable, great to wear on a hot day. And I will share the episode that I talked about it in the below, because I went into much more detail about what I did. First, to a finished object, something that I've had on the needles for a really long time. Part of my cleaning up in here, I went through my tubs that I take to market, and I discovered a Bali beanie at the Patterns by Tin Can Knits that I had sitting half done, that I was taking to market as sort of something to knit on if I really wanted to, but mostly just to show off the combination of my 8-ply with a mohair combined together, to see the fabric and how it drapes. And so this is the finished Bali hat now. I think I was about here for all of my markets. It just kind of sat at this point, and I put stoppers on the end and everything so it didn't come undone. It hasn't been blocked, but it's got a really nice garter section, and then it's got a stockinette section. So it's a good way to sort of show off the yarn in all of its glory, really. So I used a skein of my Aqua DK and the Wispy Lace in the Hydrangea colorway, and I've probably got enough to make another one. So I have some kits made up to be able to make the Bali hat. So at markets this coming year, I will have those kits with this as a sample to show. So I've split the mohair, so you only get like half a skein of mohair, because that's really all you need to make an entire beanie. So yeah, finished object that's been sitting for a very, very long time. I made a little tiny bit of progress on my DK rainbow socks. I knit maybe a stripe and a half. This is by Heather Made. It is the Rainbow Lollipop pastel colorway. I go between calling it pastel and pastel, and I'm not sure which it is, because I don't know if it's like pastel in terms of pastel colors or pastel in terms of like a pastel lolly. But yeah, so that is that sock. I did a little bit at work the other day just to sit and do something while I was at lunch. I've also made quite a bit of progress on the gloves for my mum. I am using I think it's called the Very Classic gloves by Pearl Soho, and I'm knitting it out of my yarn, my lattice sock base in the olive colorway. And here it is so far. So it's currently not on the needles. I've got the thumb on a piece of yarn, and I have the rest of the hand opening on a piece of yarn, and I've finished doing the little finger. I'm kind of making it up a little bit as I go along, so I've changed the stitch numbers a little bit. So I've got, so here it is on. We kind of need to shove this down a little bit. So there it is so far. So now I need to pick up and do the rest of the fingers. As I said last time, I think I will do this finger and this finger in the contrasting color, and do the little finger, the middle finger, and the thumb in the green. And then I have to repeat it all for the second one. So it's a little bit fiddly at this point, because I'm now up to doing the fingers. So I may even cast on the second one up to this point and then go back and do the fingers, just to make sure that I keep them the same while I'm remembering what I did. I've written stuff down, but while I'm remembering what I did to this point so far, and then I can work on the fiddly bit when I'm inspired by that kind of knitting. And at the moment, I'm really not. And part of it too, my hands are feeling a little bit sore in the evenings now, and my this finger here, so not my middle finger, my pointer finger is like clicking a little bit at the moment. After the holidays and not doing a lot on the computer with a mouse, I'm now doing quite a lot. And part of what I do is on this program that has a lot of different things to click around to get to, and you can't just sort of tab across, you've got to click through. So my hands are getting sore by the end of the day, and then I can't come home and knit quite as much on these tiny little stuff. So I need to take care of myself and go on to bigger needles and different projects so that I don't end up with really sore hands. And the big project that I'm working on, which will be in the new yarn that I'm releasing this year at markets, is the Avena cardigan in my new base, which is a DK or 8-ply brushed merino. And it's a combination of knitting and crochet. Here is the yarn that I'm using. I've shown this a couple of times. It's really, really beautiful yarn to work with. It's sort of like a core, and then it's fluffy. So to me, it's a good alternative to like a fingering weight and a mohair in terms of getting that 8-ply fuzzy look without the bulk and the warmth that you would get from that, because this is really making a beautiful light fabric. So I've shown this a couple of times, and this bit hasn't changed since the last time I showed you. So crocheted all of the squares, which I love the pattern of, and I've done the ribbing on the bottom with an Italian bind off, and the next step is to pick up all the way along the top and then do a couple of rounds before attaching the sleeves. I have finished sleeve number 1. So it is off the needles. I've just got it on a piece of yarn at the moment. And I think I'm about 20, 25 rows from finishing the second sleeve. I made them slightly longer than what the pattern called for, but I've tried them on, if that makes sense. So last week I was talking about the fact that I'd never done this kind of construction before, having knit the sleeves as a tube and then attached them to the body of a garment. So I've had a look on some other YouTube channels, and now that I've seen it, it makes sense. I was somehow in my head, I had it that the sleeves were coming up to here, which then would not work because you'd have to build up the body in order to attach. Oh. But obviously that's not what you have to do. It is sort of from down here, and then you build up and you do the raglan decreases while knitting across the sleeve to make the sort of the sleeve cap and the shoulder portion. So I understand how it works now. And then you have to just sew up these little few stitches underneath the arm when you're done. So this is it on my arm. So I've got it, I think it'll sit probably about there. And so how I imagined it was, when you put your arm down flat, it kind of needs to come to just before you start to do this shaping here. So I feel like that's probably okay. If it's not, I can always rip out the cuff, put a lifeline through, knit down a little bit, and then do the ribbing and bind off and make the sleeve longer. And if it's too long, then I can always fold over the cuff. So I hedged my bets a little bit and went slightly longer than the pattern called for, in the hopes that it'll either be a little long or it'll be like spot on. So I've just got to knit the second one to the same length. You can see here how I'm going. I did end up with this one. You can see there's a little bit, and hand-dyed yarn, you can see there is a little bit of extra sort of darkness through here compared to this one. And I did end up, as I was changing between balls, the second ball that I added in, where is it? I ended up starting it down here, and I alternated skeins up through here to get it to look a little less dark pulling through. So I didn't alternate the whole sleeve, just where I was going to be changing over, so that it would look a little less jarring in terms of the changeover of the colour. So I'm up to my third and fourth ball. So I think I should be able to get the rest of the garment out of these two. Maybe I'll have to crack into a fifth, but I'm not sure yet. Again, because I haven't done this construction before, I kind of can't picture how much of the knitting I have left to go. Because it's kind of from here, all of the top and all of the back and across the shoulders. And that's normally about one ball, so I should have enough, I think. But then there's also the button band to pick up. I'm really enjoying this, and I'm enjoying that I'm about to start a new technique with that as well, or a different way of constructing a garment. And as I said, what I want to do is pop that onto her to take to markets, to be able to show off my new base. I'll possibly put the beanie on her as well, or maybe just have that sitting beside. And I want to take that top off and start to wear it. Because it's been sitting on her for a while, and I made it for me and I wore it a few times, and then I decided to put it on my model. And I don't really have that many other tops that are made in my own yarn, so I need to get going on this so that she is not naked when it comes to my next market. Well, that's it for another week. Thanks for spending some time with me. If you're enjoying these videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I look forward to seeing you next week on the farm. Bye.